What's going on, everyone? So this week we're gonna do some tidying up, a little odds and ends, if you will. We have some things on the floor and the corners near the rear and behind the front seat that I need to address. And we're going to work on this box mainly, finish insulating the inside of it, and then putting another layer of board down, getting the actual lid floor on hinges and gluing those tiles down in place, and then getting a piece of wood to brace it on the end as well as in the center so you can actually walk on it. And then maybe, just maybe, we'll tackle those steps on the side. We'll see. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So okay, let's get into this video, get to this build, and start working. Okay, so right now this is what we're working on, and that is making sure that when the door for the box, aka the floor, closes, it closes flush with the floor. And right now it is not. It is on the right side, but on the left side it kind of goes down a bit. So after looking it over for a few minutes, I think what I'm gonna do is tomorrow, before coming back over here, go to the hardware store and just get some shims, because the gap isn't that much. So I can put some shims in there, glue them in place, break them off to where it's flush with the outside. And wait 1 second. We'll be using this trim to go over the edge here. So all the different shims and the different pieces of wood showing on the end, you will not see. They'll all be covered up. So that's where we're at. So right now I think what I'm going to do is get the hinges in place. Go ahead and work on that. So let's get to it. So currently I am working on the hinges for the lid for the box, as you've been seeing in the video. I've been to the store twice now for 2 sets of hinges. First, I bought these here. And second, I bought these here. As you can see, entirely 2 different sets of hinges. And neither of them are working. And I've looked up videos on how to properly set hinges on lids. It's proven to be a lot harder than I thought it would be initially. So what I'm going to do is just scrap the hinges for now. Stop worrying about the hinges. I have gas struts. Remember those cabinets that I mentioned way back when in some other video that I was going to have up in the walls? Well, now I'm not doing cabinets and I have gas struts. Well, guess what? We're using gas struts on this lid, but I don't have them with me. They're in Houston and I'm not in Houston. So another day, another time. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up a few other things in this box, and then we're going to move over towards the steps and get working there. So, all right, let's get back to work. We got the shims done, so it's leveled. Now we're going to work on gluing the tiles to the top, and the lid is done, folks. So let's glue some tiles down. So now we have the tiles gluing or drying on the lid. We're gonna let that sit overnight. Then afterwards, we'll come back tomorrow and check on it. In the meantime, we're gonna clean up. I didn't get to do a whole lot today because when I showed up at my Uncle Gordon's with all the materials, but none of the screws, none of the glues. So I had to go uptown, buy glue, and then I had to go to 5, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hardware stores to find a specific screw. When I was in Oregon, I bought some screws for the wall panels, and these screws show, so I want them all to match. So that was a feat in itself, and even then I didn't get exactly the same match, but close. Anyways, getting off track. We didn't get much done today. We got some, but we're gonna come back tomorrow. We'll finish the box, finish the floors. The floors won't take but a few minutes. All I have to do is just cut it. The corner piece that I mentioned earlier in the video, the one near the rear door and the one behind the driver's seat, just 2 little pieces. And then after that, the majority of tomorrow will be spent tackling the steps by the shower. Wish me luck, folks. See you in the morning. So here we have the box. Normally this might be where I say the finished box, but it is not finished. I'm not gonna worry about painting the inside. I really don't care too much about how it looks. I didn't put this wall on. I might have touched on this before, but I'm going to cut a hole here going outside and then attach an elbow, probably PVC or metal, I don't know yet, and it's gonna come up through the floor here. Now imagine right at this blue tape, a wall, cabinet. This is the Murphy bed. The head of the bed will be about here above this pipe or this flex tubing. So all of this dead space down here is for housing the rest of my electrical. So that elbow will come up through the floor, and these will be the wires that need to feed to the solar batteries. In hindsight, I shouldn't have put the foam board here because I'm gonna have to cut that too. So once that's all put in, the elbow, then we'll finish this up and dress it up a little bit more. And as I said earlier, we can't finish the lid because hinges are not working, so I'm gonna use gas struts. I'll probably attach them to here and here, which means I won't be able to finish the lid until we get the elbow put in. But this is it for now. I said we were going to work on the step, which we still are. We're still gonna finish this. But before we do that, I'm gonna finish this. And here, you might remember some odd videos back when I was doing the shower floor. I was at a business that was helping me out. The guy who gave me the glue for the floor, that guy. I ordered some type of seal, some kind of barrier. I'll show it to you here in a second. But yes, that's what we're gonna work on. All I have to do is cut it to length and then wedge it up underneath the tile and glue it. That's it. Shouldn't take terribly too long. Let me go show you. Okay, so here is the seal. So this portion here will slide up underneath the tile, kind of looking like this, if I can show you. So yeah, that's the look we're trying to go for. And so you see where it slopes on the back end, that's the water barrier. And I'll put some type of sealant there so nothing gets in between the barrier and the wood. That's what's going on right now. I'm gonna cut this and get to work on that. Okay, so currently this is where we're at. This is the seal. It's a bit messy. I'll clean it up later. But here, the water will run along here, eventually hit this portion right here and bounce back. So you can see this sits up higher than the floor, so water can hit this and come back. And it spans the entire width of the cab. I didn't film myself putting in because it was a feat in doing so. I had to grind out a sliver of the floor, the width of the cab, with the grinder so that I can fit the bracket that I showed you earlier that is slid up underneath this tile and the plywood underneath this. And right now I've got this waterproof sealant. Like I said, I'll clean it up later. So that is drying. I have sealed this here, but I'm going to take some of this Gorilla Flex Seal waterproof sealant, and I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to have it wrap around here all the way down the span of this. And then I'll go ahead and cut more of this product here, put it here on the side walls, put some down here, and then I'll do the same thing I did here. I'll take some of the waterproof sealant, put it all along the edges, then I'll cut small portions of this to run in the corners. So everything's water seal tight, so any water runoff will go over it and not behind it and down the side. And anything that's left over in white, like all of this here, that's still part of the van, I'm gonna spray paint in a matte black. I'm still debating if I want to even try sanding it down to give the paint something to grip to, or just paint over it and touch up as needed. I don't know, it just depends on what kind of a mood I'm in. So, all right, let's get back to working on this step. And here we go with the finished product. Now, it's not my best work, but the more I spent time on these freaking steps, the less I started to care on how it looked. And I started trying to make rationalizations as to why I don't care. For example, I'm gonna be doing a lot of off-roading, so there's no need in me getting all fancy on my steps. But then, you know, you look at other parts of my build being all fancy, and looks and sounds a bit contradicting, but it is what it is, folks. So yes, I still have a few little things I need to do in the corners. It's all black, so I don't know if you can see this, but there's a hole here, and I need to dress up this section. But yeah, the steps are done. So we finished this. We put in the little water dam. I still have to clean up the caulk. I'll probably do that tomorrow. And we got the majority of the box done. As I said, I still have to do the elbow coming up underneath the Murphy bed, but that's gonna get done at a later date. I've got things in here, but yeah, the box is done, the steps are done, the water dam is done. And with that being said, this vlog is done. Enough talking. See you next week. Next week, we are gonna finish the walls and the ceiling, folks. Peace.